Assalamualaikum dan selamat petang. So today I will give a lecture, video lecture for chapter 3 security devices and technology for subject DFN5033 network security. So this is the revision for chapter 2. I will skip this one or this one. So I will go straight to the course learning outcome. So for this chapter 3, okay, actually they have a lot of information that you need to know. So they have 5 course learning outcome. So you will, the first one, set 1, you will learn about firewall. So 2, you will learn about intrusion detection concept, IDS, okay, and intrusion prevention strategies. CLO3, you will learn about the proxy server, the importance of proxy server. CLO4, you will learn about bastion host and honeypot. So bastion host ni basically about the DMZ of the project lah, of the network lah. Okay, and CLO5 is for you to understand and describe about the VPN, Virtual Private Network and Tunneling Protocol. Okay, so this is example, okay, in 2013, 2012, 2010 about the hack of a network and the data. Okay, Yahoo, Twitter, Maybank, okay, all of this has been breached. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in 2019, the latest one is a Facebook, okay, has been data leaked. Okay, so from all this leak and compromise, okay, so we know that we need to have a strong security in IT, especially in our infrastructure, network, database, okay, but also in our services. Okay, so in a network, okay, in a network security especially, okay, the most important device for you to understand and for you to know is a firewall. Firewall is the first defense of the network. Okay, so what is firewall? So this is what you will learn for subject 3.1. Okay, firewall component, there are 4, bracket filter, proxy server, authentication system, and AT. Okay, means the firewall component cannot run if you only have proxy server. No, it cannot run as a firewall. Firewall have this all 4 type of component. Okay, so firewall to for firewall to execute strongly, the organization need to have all this in place, all the 4. Okay, and the type of packet filtering, stateful, stateless, proxy, and different various type of firewall architecture. Okay, IP packet, secret level, application, network, and DMZ concept, limitation, and file limitation. Okay, so what is firewall? Okay, so firewall is a system we designed to prevent unauthorized access to or from a private network which control network traffic. Okay, so they permit and deny based on security policy. So they will permit or they will accept the traffic based on destination and based on source IP address, also based on the port numbers, service. Okay, service number lah. Okay, so function of firewall, okay, that is the main function of firewall. The first one is because we want to separate the public and private. Okay, so when you have firewall, you will know, okay, this side is a LAN, this side is a WAN, this is public, this is private. Okay, then you want to prevent unwanted traffic, DDoS traffic, okay, malware traffic that you don't want to come. Okay, pornography traffic, games traffic, okay, you can filter at firewall. Okay, and the most important is firewall can lock all attempt, cubaan nak masuk ke dalam private. Okay, they can lock and trigger alarm. Okay, so the admin can know, okay, they are trying to access our network. Okay, so this is a firewall component. So this is very important for you to remember. Please memorize. This is one of the questions that keep being asking in a final exam. Okay, I think every semester it will be asked either in a subnet, in a objective or subjective. Okay, so you need to understand all this. So type of firewall component, they have 4. Okay, So all these need to work together. It cannot only authentication system without packet tracer, without network address transaction, without proxy server is a firewall. Cannot. It work together. Okay, so I will go first to the packet filter. So packet filter actually is a it can be a router, it can also be a firewall uh, in term of software or in term of hardware lah. So what the usage of packet filter is, it have a set of rules. So set of rules, we can configure it either to discard or to accept the traffic. Okay, so when a user from our LAN want to go to website, okay, this is LAN, okay, so the firewall, the packet filter, they can know, okay, what user want to go to browse, okay, so we allow, this is okay. Okay, but if you wanted the traffic comes is from the games, let's say, okay, it's from a site that are not related with the work, we can deny it. This is a packet filter. So packet filter usually, okay, based on all this lah, address. Okay, for address it can be filter based on the source and destination, and protocol. So protocol can be TCP, UDP, SMP. That one, that most important is based on the port. Port either is source of destination. Okay, so when you say about packet filter, it will it cannot run away from the SCL, access control list. Okay, so now proxy server. So proxy server, okay, it can be a proxy firewall. Okay, this one is a work at the middle of the network and other network, between the LAN on the and also on the WAN. Okay, so this one also requests used to process requests from outside. Okay, so it will examine the data, and from the data it will make the decision. Okay, should be forwarded or refused. Okay, because they have a set of rules. So why do you need to have packet filter and we need to have proxy server? Okay, the answer is simple. Sometimes what we have in packet filter is not enough to filter whatever the traffic that comes to the network. So sometimes we need the additional defense, which is proxy server in terms of firewall. Okay, so this proxy server usually it can intercept in more detail, especially go into the session, okay, to the application. Okay, so sometimes the proxy server, this one, it can have a catching. So when they have the catching, when the some request is being made again, okay, the proxy server already know this is going to this one or that one destination, that they can is if more efficiency lah of data delivery. Okay, alright, so other than packet filter and proxy, another one is we need to have authentication system. Okay, why we need to have authentication system? So authentication system here mean is not an authentication for you to log in into a mailbag. No, authentication system mean for you to have identification, credential, username and password, for you to log in to access the network. Access the network, either the network is a wireless or the wired one. Okay, if the user is not is not an internal staff, let's say at Politeknik Mesin, okay, you are not the staff, you are not the student, you are not supposed to have access to the network. That's mean the authentication system. So authentication system can be used radius, or you can use any kind of authentication that support the credential for the user to access to have access to the network. Okay, so why we need to have this authentication system to have access to the network? So in case attack happen and it and the IT staff detect the attack happen from the local area network itself, from the internal. Okay, so we can pinpoint, the network admin can pinpoint who the ID, which ID, who is the person who responsible for the attack. So when you have the credential for access network, make sure only you are the person who use that credential. Don't give your credential to others people. It's very important. Okay. So other than that is network address translation. This is one of the very important element. Okay, in firewall. Why? Because in private, okay, you usually organization will use a private IP. Okay, so when the data go to the outside one, usually the IP will be converted to the public. Okay, why we have this kind of mechanism? Okay, because if let's say it does happen to the organization, to the LAN, okay, it cannot come into to inside of the LAN. Why? Because the address is not the same. Okay, it's translated. Okay, so the attack will stop at the last point of the exit, which is at the router. So the server or the user behind of the router will not be impacted. So if they want to remediate the problem, they can just change the IP address. So this is very important. So you as a network student, you need to know about the network address translation, and because you are Cisco network student, you should first to know how to configure the NAT. Okay, so that's all. We have come to discussion 1. Okay, so what I need you to do in discussion 1, because you only have 5 of you, so I want you all to do is mind map for discussion 1. Okay, mind map, do it individually. Okay, so type of packet filtering. Okay, so there we have 3 type of packet filtering. Okay, the first is stateful, the second is stateless, and the last one is proxy packet filtering. So this is type packet filtering that we use in the firewall component. So we can have either one of these. Okay, so what the difference? Okay, so for the stateful, okay, we also call a dynamic packet filtering. Alright, so this one, stateful. Filter the content rather than examine the content rather than just filtering. Means for stateful, they will check all the content. Okay, not just filtering, it just check. Okay, then it will monitor the state of active connection. Means you will go drill down until the session. Okay, to use this information and to determine whether the network packet should be allowed or not. So the stateful packet filtering is much more better lah, because it can go check until the session. Okay, so based the filter packet based on 1, the administration defined rules, we call it policy. The second one is connection state. This is what I call it a session, and the packet content. So there is a lot of things that actually this stateful packet filtering can check. Okay, there. So it also have a state of table to keep update with the connection. Okay, so if let's say the packet appear to be respond, then it will allow. But if not, okay, they don't find the original request, it will be dropped. Why if they don't find the original request, it will be dropped? Because it is a sign of an attack. Suddenly no one call for the packet, suddenly the packet come to the network. So this is something fishy about that lah. Okay, so usually that is usually we call it man in the middle attack. The attacker try, okay, to push something packet, okay, to get access. Okay, so this is the stateful packet filtering. Okay, I want to go to stateless packet filtering. Okay, what the difference with the stateless? So stateless is much more simple and much more cheaper. Why? Because for stateless, they only check and reject depending on the policy. It doesn't check up to the connection, it doesn't check up to session. Okay, so they check only from the source IP, destination IP, service port and source port. Other than that, if they don't know, they just allow or they just block based on the policy statement, whether to accept all to or to deny all. Okay, so this is much more simple and much more simple to configure and much more cheaper to deploy. Okay, what the difference with the proxy packet filtering? So proxy packet filtering usually we use in the middle of our network. Okay, so proxy packet usually they can cache log control requests. Okay, and also can restrict connection from going internal and out to internet. So basically what the pocket filtering do, proxy filtering do, it requests receive a request from client inside the firewall, send to the remote server of the firewall, read the response and send back to the client. Okay, so the proxy firewall is the middle between the internal and the external. Okay, so this is all the different. Okay, the difference between we can group it between the filtering base and also based on the security level. So as you can see, the most better one is the proxy filtering. Why? Because proxy filtering is much more detailed filtering. Okay, compared to the lowest level for filtering is stateless, because stateless only based on the policy, either the deny or the permit. That's all. Okay, then they cannot check based on the session. Okay, so the next one is the type of firewall architecture. So type of firewall, I'm not going to go detail in terms of the type of firewall. Okay, this is just for you to know lah. Okay, so we have 4 types. The first is IP packet filtering. The second is circuit level. The third is application level, and the last one is network level. So what all the difference between all this? Okay, in packet filtering, okay, packet passed through a firewall is compared to set of rules. Okay, for in circuit level gateway works at the session layer of OCI, model and monitor TCP handshaking between the packet. So as you can see, circuit level monitor TCP handshaking. And for application, usually is to intercept packet traveling to or from our application. And network level firewall is for the network lah. Okay, generally the last stateful and stateless. Okay, so all this you can read it yourself. I will just skip this one. It is much more detailed information. Okay, so come to discussion 2. So what I want you to do in discussion 2 is do a mind map. Okay, mind map. Okay, let me this one you need to do also a mind map. Okay, mind map for discussion 1 and also mind map for discussion 2. So I hope you do the mind map and then please submit in this class. Okay, this is for your information, okay, for you to understand more. Okay, now I will go straight to the this is an interesting concept. Okay, demilitarized zone. Okay, DMZ. Okay, shortcut for DMZ. Okay, DMZ basically we got the DMZ catch press is from the army. Okay, because when they want to in war, if they want to have a area where they can be safe between the internal and the outside, they used to have the DMZ zone. So there is we use it in our network phrase. Okay, so in network, what is DMZ? Okay, it's area where you place a public server for access by people you might not trust. Okay, this is the example. Okay, so usually DMZ is not part of your internal. It's also not part of your public. It sits between of the internal and the public. Okay, why? Because DMZ should be accessed by the internal and should be accessed to by the public. Okay, so usually DMZ we put all is the server. Okay, email server, FTP server, web server, DNS server. Okay, why? Because if public don't have access to all the server, okay, it cannot be routed to the internet. Okay, if the private cannot access to this DMZ, the user cannot use all the services that they need to use. Okay, so it need to be insulated to their own area. This is what we call DMZ. Usually the DMZ is put behind the firewall. Okay, so alright, this is for the explanation. Okay, so for DMZ actually we can have up to the 4 level. Okay, the higher the level is much more expensive, is much more better in terms of security. Okay, so this is the level 1 of DMZ design. You can see here they only have 3 parts: internet, private, and DMZ itself. So both of the servers, either is web or the mail server, is connected to the same area of DMZ. This is the level 1. So as you can see in level 2, okay, they still have the same architecture for network and corporate, private, but for the DMZ, you can see here, they are differently. Okay, for web server they have their own DMZ, and for the mail server they have a connection lah for DMZ. So what the good thing about this kind of interconnection between this one and that one? Okay, the good thing is, let's say if the web server is being attacked, it will not compromise the mail server because it is in different area. But in level 1, if the web server is being attacked, the mail server is also affected because in the same area of LAN. Okay, so next, so this is the level 3. So level 3, you see they have another 3 level differently. Okay, then level 4. So level 4 it can be like a mesh. Okay, so it depends on the organization. Okay, if the organization have better money and a more critical information, they might go to level 3. But if the information is just so not so good, don't have too much money, usually the organization will go to level 2, up to level 2 only. Okay, so limitation of firewall. So firewall, even though firewall is a good to deny and to permit, but they have a limitation. The first one, you cannot enforce your password policy. Okay, firewall cannot do that. Okay, means let's say you have password policy in your IT policy, need to be changed password every 3 months. The firewall cannot do that. Okay, they cannot force the user to change the password. Okay, because firewall can only deny and accept traffic. That's all. Okay, so firewall also ineffective against social engineering. Means if let's say the attacker uses social engineering, come to the staff, okay, come as a janitor to the office that want to brush the floor, okay, but suddenly they find a username password on the PC. Okay, the staff put that, they got the password, they try to enter to the system. Okay, firewall cannot prevent that. Okay, so another one, firewall also cannot stop user from access website with malicious code. No, firewall cannot, but firewall they can detect if the site have been blacklisted. Okay, mean if the network admin atau IT admin know that this particular site is infected with malware, so that IT person already block using a firewall. They can do it, but for firewall suddenly to know, okay, the new site is infected, no, firewall cannot do that. They don't have the information of that. Okay, alright. So next, this is the rules and restriction based on configuration. This is accept everything by default policy. Okay, in this you can see, okay, IP packet, okay, go to firewall change. So the firewall, okay, will do based on the match, based on the rules. So rules 1 is it to deny. If yes, then deny. If no, you go to rules 2. So is it to deny? If yes, yes. It's not to be denied, go to rule 3. Still deny? No. If no, then accept the traffic. Okay, the same with the policy for deny. Okay, so IP packet, we go to firewall, the firewall will go to rule 1. Is it to deny? No, go to mesh 1, rule 2. To deny? No, to rule 3. Okay, to deny? No, then deny lah. If to accept, then akan accept. Okay, ni by default kalau kita deny everything. Okay, so this is the configuration punya IP table lah. So input, internet, okay, port numbers, destination port, now IP address, and accept atau reject. So that's all for 3.1. Okay, so for 3.1, it's very important that I tell you already is the firewall component. 4 type of firewall component. Okay, please memorize and understand it. Okay, so other than that is this is the firewall component. Okay, is the firewall architecture. Okay, either both of this is usually asked in the final exam or in your test. So please, I want you all to do mind map for discussion 1. This is individually. Okay, put this here individually. Okay, don't do it in group, you need to do individually. Okay, alright. And also what you all to do is this one, discussion 2, also individually. Okay, this should be 22, 20. Okay, so that's all for subject 3.1. Okay, so I will continue with 3.2 in my next video. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye.